The last week of the year is very dangerous, not because something outside is attacking you, not because fate suddenly turns against you, and not because the days themselves carry bad luck. It is dangerous because this is the moment when awareness weakens, when vigilance drops, and when the mind, exhausted from an entire year of effort, quietly lowers its guard. Throughout the year, you have been watching yourself. You have been correcting yourself. You have been holding your discipline together with effort, reminders, goals, and deadlines. But now, as the year comes to an end, the mind begins to relax in the wrong way. It tells you that the work is done, that survival is enough, that you deserve to switch off. This is where the danger lies, not in chaos, but in comfort. Not in struggle, but in unconscious ease. Shi Heng Yi teaches that awareness is the foundation of all mastery. Without awareness, strength collapses. Without awareness, discipline turns into routine, and routine turns into decay. In the last week of the year, people do not usually make big, dramatic mistakes. They make small, unconscious ones. They sleep a little later. They skip a practice they promised themselves they would never skip. They speak without presence. They scroll without intention. They eat without listening to the body. These actions seem harmless, but they are not neutral. Each unconscious act trains the mind to drift. Each moment of lost awareness hands control back to old patterns that have been waiting patiently all year. The danger is subtle because it feels deserved. The mind says, you worked hard, you suffered, you endured, now rest. But true rest does not mean losing awareness. True rest means relaxing the body while sharpening the mind. The problem is that most people do the opposite. They tense the mind with noise and distraction while letting the body sink into lethargy. Awareness dissolves, and when awareness dissolves, habits take over. And habits do not care about your promises, your prayers, or your plans for the new year. Habits only care about repetition. In this final week, awareness drops because the external structure drops. Deadlines end. Pressure lifts. The world collectively slows down. When external pressure disappears, only internal discipline remains. This is why this period exposes the truth about your training. If your discipline was dependent on fear, motivation, or urgency, it will weaken now. If your awareness was borrowed from external reminders, it will fade now. The last week strips away support and asks a simple question: can you watch yourself when no one is watching you? God's warning is not about punishment. It is about clarity. When it is said that this week is dangerous, it is not a prophecy of disaster. It is a mirror. It reflects how easily the human being falls asleep when comfort appears. Awareness requires energy. It requires presence. And when energy is low, presence must be trained, not assumed. Most people assume awareness is automatic. It is not. Awareness is a practice, and any practice that is not maintained begins to decay. When awareness drops, the mind becomes noisy. Thoughts multiply. Old memories surface. Regrets replay. Desires resurface. You start comparing yourself to others. You start measuring your year by outcomes instead of growth. This mental noise is not random. It appears when awareness is weak, because awareness is the space that keeps thoughts from controlling you. Without it, thoughts feel real, heavy, and personal. You begin to identify with them again. You forget that you are the observer, not the content of the mind. Shi Heng Yi often reminds that the mind is like a wild horse. If you stop holding the reins, even for a short moment, it does not stand still. It runs back to familiar paths. In the last week of the year, the reins loosen. The rider relaxes. And the horse runs straight back to old fields of distraction, desire, fear, and self-sabotage. This is why people undo months of progress in a few unconscious days. Not because they are weak, but because they stopped watching. Awareness is not about tension. It is about clarity. You do not need to fight the last week. You need to inhabit it. But when awareness drops, you are no longer inhabiting your life, you are being carried by it. Time passes faster. Days blur together. you suddenly realize the year is over, and you were absent at the ending. This absence is what makes the week dangerous. Endings have power. They seal narratives in the mind. If you end the year unconscious, the mind records that unconsciousness as normal. The last week is also dangerous because it invites indulgence disguised as reward. The ego says you deserve to let go, but it does not define what to let go of. Instead of letting go of tension, you let go of discipline. Instead of letting go of fear, you let go of structure. Awareness confuses letting go with giving up, and the result is internal disorder. Shi Heng Yi's path is not about suppression or indulgence. It is about alignment. Awareness is what keeps alignment alive. When awareness drops, reactions increase. You become easily irritated. Small things trigger you. You speak before you listen. You judge before you understand. This happens because awareness is the buffer between stimulus and response. Without it, the body reacts automatically, and automatic reactions are shaped by the past, not by intention. In the last week, unresolved emotions surface because the mind is no longer busy pushing forward. If awareness is present, these emotions can be observed, understood, and released. If awareness is absent, they control behavior. The danger is also spiritual. Many people end the year seeking signs, messages, and external reassurance. But awareness is turned outward instead of inward. When awareness drops, people search for meaning everywhere except inside themselves. Shi Heng Yi teaches that truth is not found by chasing experiences, but by stabilizing presence. The last week tempts you to escape into noise instead of sitting with silence. Silence reveals what is unfinished inside you. Noise helps you avoid it. This week is dangerous because it feels insignificant. People think it's only a few days. But the mind does not measure impact by duration. It measures by intensity and symbolism. The end of a cycle carries weight. The unconscious mind marks it. If you drift now, you train yourself to drift at thresholds. And life is made of thresholds, endings, beginnings, transitions. How you behave here is how you will behave again. Awareness dropping also affects the body. Sleep patterns break, eating becomes irregular, movement decreases. The body and mind are not separate. When the body loses rhythm, the mind loses clarity. Shi Heng Yi emphasizes structure not as rigidity, but as support for awareness. When structure dissolves, awareness must become stronger, not weaker. But most people let both collapse together. God's warning is compassionate. It says, stay awake. It does not say, be afraid. Fear makes awareness narrow. Awareness must be wide, relaxed, and alert. The danger is not temptation itself, but the absence of presence when temptation appears. Awareness allows you to see the impulse without becoming it. Without awareness, the impulse feels like you. In this last week, awareness is tested because the future is close and the past is loud. You look back and judge. You look forward and hope. Both directions pull you out of the present moment. Awareness exists only now. If you lose now, you lose the only place where change is possible. This is why the last week is not about reflection alone. It is about presence. To stay aware now is to honor the entire year. Every effort, every struggle, every lesson deserves a conscious ending. Awareness is respect for your own journey. When you end the year awake, you do not carry regret forward. You carry clarity. And clarity is power. This is why the last week is dangerous. Not because it destroys you, but because it reveals you. It reveals whether awareness is your foundation or just a tool you use when convenient. Those who understand this do not fear the warning. They receive it as a reminder. Stay awake, stay present, stay conscious, because awareness is not something you regain later. It is something you protect now. The ego wants to finish the year weak, not because it hates you, but because its survival depends on keeping you small, distracted, and unfinished. The ego does not attack you openly. It whispers. It negotiates. It waits for moments of exhaustion, and the last week of the year is its favorite battlefield. After months of effort, discipline, resistance, and self-control, the ego senses fatigue. It knows your defenses are lower. It knows your willpower has been used again and again. So it does not push hard. It suggests softness in the wrong direction. It suggests lowering standards, not lowering tension. It suggests comfort instead of clarity. Shi Heng Yi teaches that the ego is not your enemy in the traditional sense. It is a mechanism built from fear, memory, and identity. Its job is to keep things familiar. Growth threatens familiarity. Ending the year strong threatens the ego's narrative. If you finish the year awake, disciplined, and clear, the ego loses leverage over the next one. So it wants you to close the year unfinished, scattered, indulgent, and slightly disappointed in yourself. Not destroyed, just weakened enough to remain controllable. The ego understands something most people ignore: endings matter more than beginnings. The way something ends becomes the story the mind remembers. You can work hard all year, but if you collapse at the end, the ego will say, "See, this is who you really are." It uses the ending as evidence. Evidence to justify doubt. Evidence to justify delay. Evidence to justify repeating the same cycles again. This is why the ego says, "You can start fresh next year." That sentence sounds hopeful, but it is poison. It separates action from now and places responsibility into an imagined future. The ego loves the future because the future never demands action. Only the present does. When you agree to start later, you surrender power now. Shi Heng Yi emphasizes mastery of the present moment because the present is the only place where the ego cannot hide behind excuses. Finishing the year weak does not mean dramatic failure. It means subtle compromise. You stop training because it's almost over anyway. You break your routine because this week doesn't count. You speak carelessly because everyone is relaxed. These compromises send a message to the nervous system. Standards are negotiable when things feel comfortable. The ego thrives on negotiable standards. Discipline threatens it. Consistency suffocates it. The ego also wants to end the year weak because strength creates responsibility. If you end the year strong, clear, and aligned, you cannot lie to yourself anymore. You cannot pretend you are powerless. You cannot hide behind circumstances. Strength removes excuses. Weakness protects them. The ego prefers you slightly disappointed, slightly ashamed, slightly unsure. Not enough to change, just enough to stay stuck. In the last week of the year, the ego replays comparisons. It shows you what others achieved. It magnifies what you did not do. This is not reflection. This is manipulation. Reflection brings learning. Ego comparison brings paralysis. It makes you feel behind, late, and unworthy of finishing strong. So you disengage emotionally. You numb yourself with distraction, and numbness feels like rest, but it is not rest. It is avoidance. Shi Heng Yi teaches that true strength is quiet. It does not announce itself. Ending the year strong does not require dramatic achievements. It requires integrity. Integrity means your actions match your values, even when no one is watching. The ego hates integrity because integrity cannot be negotiated. Either you are aligned or you are not. There is no excuse language in integrity. The ego wants you to believe that discipline is harsh and that relaxation means abandonment of structure. But disciplined people rest better because their rest is intentional. Ego-driven rest is chaotic. It looks like comfort, but feels empty afterward. This is why people feel strangely dissatisfied at the end of the year, despite having time off. The ego promised relief, but delivered disconnection. Finishing the year weak also helps the ego maintain identity. If you end strong, you might outgrow your old story. You might stop seeing yourself as trying and start seeing yourself as doing. That shift threatens the ego's control. The ego prefers identity over truth. It would rather you remain consistent with your past than aligned with your potential. This is why the ego says, everyone does this. It normalizes weakness. It hides behind collective behavior. Shi Heng Yi often reminds that the path is narrow not because it is elitist, but because few are willing to walk against unconscious momentum. Just because many people relax their standards does not make it wise. It only makes it common. The ego also exploits emotion at year's end. Nostalgia, regret, hope, fear all rise together. When emotions rise and awareness drops, the ego takes the steering wheel. It uses emotion to justify impulsive choices. I feel like it. I don't feel like it. These phrases sound harmless, but they are signs of ego control. Awareness acts regardless of mood. Ego waits for permission from feeling. Ending the year weak creates a psychological debt. You enter the new year trying to compensate instead of build. You make extreme resolutions out of guilt, not clarity. The ego loves this cycle. Big promises followed by quiet collapse. Each collapse reinforces its belief that change is temporary. But when you end the year strong, even quietly strong, you break this cycle. You enter the new year grounded, not desperate. Shi Heng Yi's philosophy is rooted in self-mastery, not self-punishment. Ending the year strong does not mean pushing harder. It means staying true, staying present, staying disciplined in small things. The ego hates small, consistent actions because they slowly dismantle it. It prefers extremes, all or nothing. Awareness chooses something every day. God's warning that the ego wants you weak is an invitation to see through the illusion. The ego is loud at the end of the year because it senses transition. Transitions weaken unconscious identities. If you pass through this transition awake, the ego loses authority. If you pass through asleep, it tightens its grip. To finish the year strong is to deny the ego its favorite victory. It is to say, I will not abandon myself just because the calendar changes. It is to honor your effort with presence. You do not need applause. You do not need proof. You need alignment. The ego will try one last time. It will say, it doesn't matter. But this is the greatest lie. It matters because you matter. It matters because how you end things reflects how you live. When you stand steady at the end, you carry that steadiness forward, not as pressure, but as confidence. And this is what the ego fears most: a human being who is calm, consistent, and self-directed, not controlled by fear, pleasure, or timing, just present, just awake, just grounded. Ending the year this way is not dramatic, it is powerful. The last week of the year tests inner alignment because when outer structures dissolve, only what is truly integrated inside you remains. Throughout the year, life gives you momentum. Schedules, responsibilities, expectations, and pressure keep you moving in a certain direction. Even discipline can sometimes be carried by routine rather than awareness. But when the year comes to an end, that momentum slows, silence increases, space appears, and in that space truth rises, not the truth you want to show others, but the truth of how aligned you are with yourself. Shi Heng Yi teaches that alignment is the harmony between thought, word, and action. When these three are aligned, there is peace. When they are not, there is inner conflict. The last week of the year exposes this alignment because there is less distraction to hide behind. You cannot blame lack of time. You cannot blame pressure. You cannot blame urgency. What remains is choice, and choice reveals alignment. If your discipline was built only on motivation, it will weaken now. Motivation is emotional. It rises and falls. When the year ends, motivation often fades because the reward feels distant and the fatigue feels close. Inner alignment, however, does not depend on emotion. It depends on identity. You do what you do because it is who you are, not because you feel inspired. This is why the last week becomes uncomfortable for many. It shows them that their actions were driven more by external push than internal truth. In this quiet period, the mind becomes louder. Thoughts you avoided all year begin to surface. Questions appear. Doubts knock. Unfinished emotional business asks for attention. This is not a mistake. This is alignment calling for honesty. Shi Heng Yi emphasizes stillness because stillness does not create problems. It reveals them. And what is revealed can either be faced or escaped. Most people choose escape. They fill the silence with noise. They keep themselves busy even when there is nothing to do. They scroll, binge, overtalk, oversleep. These behaviors are not relaxation. They are avoidance of misalignment. Because to sit quietly in the last week of the year is to feel the gap between who you were and who you know you could have been. Awareness makes that gap visible. Ego tries to cover it. The test of alignment is not about judging yourself harshly. It is about seeing clearly. When you are aligned, the silence of the last week feels grounding. You may still feel tired, but there is no inner fight. Your actions feel simple, natural. When you are misaligned, even rest feels heavy. There is a subtle anxiety beneath comfort, a sense of running out of time mixed with the desire to disappear into distraction. Shi Heng Yi often speaks about discipline as self-respect. Inner alignment is the deepest form of self-respect. It means you do not betray yourself even when no one is watching. In the last week, many people betray themselves quietly. They break promises they made in moments of clarity. They justify it by saying the year is over anyway. But the nervous system records this betrayal. It weakens trust in oneself. Alignment also means accepting truth without drama. You may realize you did not live fully in alignment this year. That realization is not failure. It is information. But if awareness is absent, that information turns into guilt or numbness. If awareness is present, it becomes direction. Shi Heng Yi's path is not about perfection. It is about precision. Seeing clearly where you are without collapsing emotionally. This week tests whether your spiritual practice is real or performative. When there are no audiences, no milestones, no deadlines, do you still show up? Do you still breathe consciously? Do you still speak carefully? Do you still move your body with respect? Alignment is revealed in the smallest actions when nothing seems to be at stake. The last week also tests your relationship with silence. Silence is uncomfortable for the misaligned because it reflects fragmentation. Thoughts pull in different directions. Desires conflict, regrets echo. But for the aligned, silence is not empty. It is supportive. It feels like coming home. This difference has nothing to do with personality and everything to do with internal coherence. Alignment is not achieved by force. It is maintained by honesty. The last week invites honesty because there is no performance left. You are not building anymore. You are concluding. And conclusions reveal structure. A crooked structure shows clearly when the scaffolding is removed. This is why endings are sacred. They show you the truth of what you built. Shi Heng Yi teaches that mastery is not about control over life, but about harmony within yourself. The last week challenges that harmony. Family gatherings, social obligations, emotional memories, and expectations collide. If you are aligned, you navigate these with presence. If you are not, you become reactive. Reaction is the signal of misalignment. Response is the sign of integration. This period also tests whether your values are lived or just believed. Many people believe in discipline, presence, and faith, but belief without action is decoration. When life slows down, belief has nowhere to hide. Either it becomes embodied or it dissolves. This is why the last week feels heavy for some. Their beliefs confront their behavior. Inner alignment means your energy is not leaking. You may be tired, but you are not scattered. You may rest, but you are not lost. When alignment is missing, energy drains quickly. You feel exhausted even without doing much. This exhaustion is not physical. It is internal friction. Different parts of you pulling in different directions. God's message that this week is critical is not meant to create pressure. It is meant to offer an opportunity. Alignment can be restored in a moment of awareness. One honest breath, one conscious decision, one act of integrity. The last week is powerful because small adjustments here echo forward. Ending the year aligned does not mean resolving everything. It means accepting what is unresolved without running from it. It means standing in truth without embellishment. This stance creates stability, and stability is the foundation for growth. When you pass this test of alignment, You enter the new year without inner noise. You are not chasing change. You are ready for it. You are not hoping to be different. You are prepared to be consistent. Shi Heng Yi's teachings point to this quiet readiness. No drama, no rush, just presence. The last week is a mirror. It shows you whether you are living from your center or from your circumstances. It shows you whether your practice is deep or superficial. It shows you whether your values are embodied or aspirational. And whatever it shows you, it gives you one final gift, the chance to stand still, align yourself, and close the year whole rather than fragmented. Awareness turns danger into power because awareness is the only force that can transform a critical moment into a doorway instead of a downfall. The last week of the year does not change its nature. Time moves forward regardless. What changes everything is the quality of attention you bring into these days. When awareness is absent, the week becomes dangerous because you are dragged by impulse, emotion, memory, and habit. When awareness is present, the same conditions become fuel for clarity, strength, and internal authority. Shi Heng Yi teaches that awareness is not passive observation. It is active presence. It is the state in which you are fully here, fully responsible, and fully awake to what is happening inside you and around you without being consumed by it. In the last week of the year, this quality of awareness becomes rare, which is why it becomes powerful. Most people drift. Few remain grounded. And grounding, in times of drift, is strength. Danger is not eliminated by control, it is neutralized by clarity. When you see clearly, impulses lose their grip, desires lose their urgency, emotions lose their power to command behavior. Awareness creates a small but decisive gap between what arises and how you respond. In that gap, choice lives. And choice is freedom. This is why awareness is transformative. It does not fight temptation, it outgrows it. In these final days, the mind constantly pulls backward and forward. Regret tries to define you by what you did not do. Hope tries to seduce you into imagining what you will do later. Awareness cuts through both. It anchors you in what is real now, and what is real now is manageable. You can breathe now, you can choose now, you can act with integrity now. The ego cannot operate in this space because it needs time, comparison, and narrative to survive. Shi Heng Yi often speaks about training the mind the way you train the body. You do not wait for perfect conditions. You train when resistance appears. The last week of the year is resistance disguised as ease. Comfort lowers alertness. Awareness keeps it alive. When you stay aware during comfort, you master yourself at a deeper level than when you stay aware during hardship. Awareness also turns danger into power by simplifying life. In this week, you do not need big plans, resolutions, or dramatic rituals. You need to reduce noise, to slow down deliberately, to bring consciousness into small actions. Eating becomes a practice. Walking becomes a practice. Speaking becomes a practice. Resting becomes a practice. This is not spirituality as performance. This is mastery as presence. When awareness is present, you stop leaking energy. You no longer argue internally about what you should or should not do. You simply do what is aligned. This saves enormous mental energy. That energy becomes strength. Quiet strength. The kind that does not announce itself but stabilizes everything it touches. Others may feel it without understanding it. Awareness also transforms the emotional weight of the last week. Many people feel sadness, nostalgia, or anxiety without knowing why. Awareness does not suppress these emotions. It allows them to be felt without becoming identity. You feel sadness, but you are not sad. You feel anxiety, but you are not anxious. This distinction is power. Without it, emotions run the system. With it, emotions pass through. Shi Heng Yi emphasizes that stillness is not emptiness, it is fullness without noise. When awareness is stable, stillness becomes nourishing instead of frightening. You can sit with yourself without needing escape. This ability alone changes the trajectory of your life. A person who can sit with themselves does not need constant stimulation. They are not easily manipulated. They are not easily distracted. They are not easily broken. The last week becomes powerful because it sharpens awareness through contrast. When everything around you slows down, distractions become obvious. You begin to see how often the mind reaches outward, how often it seeks avoidance. This seeing is not judgment, it is information. And information, when seen clearly, becomes wisdom. Awareness also turns danger into power by closing the year cleanly. Many people carry emotional residue into the new year: unfinished resentment, unresolved disappointment, unconscious guilt. Awareness allows you to acknowledge these without dramatizing them. You do not need to fix everything. You need to see everything. Seeing completes cycles. What is seen clearly no longer unconsciously repeats. Ending the year with awareness creates continuity. You do not suddenly become a different person on January 1st. You carry the same presence forward. This is why awareness is more powerful than resolutions. Resolutions are ideas about change. Awareness is change in action. When you end the year aware, you enter the next one already practicing what others are still promising. Shi Heng Yi's teachings are not about peak experiences. They are about grounded existence. Awareness is grounded. It keeps you connected to reality rather than fantasy. In the last week, fantasy is tempting. Fantasy of escape, fantasy of reinvention without effort. Awareness dismantles fantasy gently by returning you to what is real. The power of awareness is that it does not depend on outcomes. Whether the year was successful or difficult, awareness meets it the same way, calmly, honestly, presently. This neutrality is strength. It allows you to learn without collapsing and to move forward without arrogance. When danger is met with awareness, it loses its ability to harm. It becomes training. The last week becomes a test you quietly pass. Not because you are special, but because you are present. And presence is available to anyone willing to slow down and pay attention. God's message that awareness turns danger into power is not mystical. It is practical. Stay awake. Observe yourself. Do not abandon your center. In doing so, you transform a fragile moment into a foundation. You do not rush into the new year. You arrive, and arriving is power. If you are seeing this today, 28th of December, understand first this simple truth: nothing meaningful enters your life by accident. What appears accidental is often the result of preparation you were not conscious of. Awakening works this way. It does not announce itself loudly. It does not ask for permission. It arrives quietly, usually after you have been stripped of illusions, after comfort has been removed, after certainty has collapsed. People think awakening is something mystical, sudden, dramatic. In reality, it is subtle, gradual, and often uncomfortable. It begins the moment you stop running from yourself. Many people wake up in the morning, but very few wake up within. They move through their days on habit, impulse, and reaction. They believe they are choosing, but most of the time they are only responding. Awakening is the moment you realize this. It is the moment you see that your thoughts are not always yours, that your emotions rise without invitation, that your life has been shaped more by unconscious patterns than by deliberate action. This realization does not come to everyone, because not everyone is ready to carry it. To see yourself clearly requires strength. To see your own confusion requires humility. To see your own responsibility requires courage. If you are seeing this message today, it means something within you has reached a point where it can no longer remain asleep. You may not feel enlightened. You may not feel peaceful. You may even feel lost. But awakening does not begin with clarity. It begins with disturbance. It begins when the old way of living no longer satisfies you, but the new way has not yet revealed itself. This space in between is where many people turn back. They return to distraction, noise, and false comfort. They choose numbness over growth. Awakening is not for those who seek comfort. It is for those who seek truth. God does not awaken people randomly. Awakening is not a reward for being good, nor a punishment for being bad. It is a responsibility given to those who can endure seeing reality without escaping. When you awaken, you can no longer blame blindly. You can no longer live carelessly. You can no longer pretend that your actions have no consequences. This is why awakening often feels heavy at first. The weight of awareness presses on you. You begin to notice your habits, your reactions, your excuses. You begin to see how often you abandon your own values. This is not meant to shame you. It is meant to strengthen you. Pain is often the doorway to awakening, not because pain is good, but because pain strips away illusions. When life breaks you open, when expectations collapse, when people leave, when plans fail, something inside you is forced to look inward. Comfort keeps people asleep. Struggle forces attention. Many of the strongest awakenings come after disappointment, loss, or prolonged silence. When there is nothing left to cling to outside, you finally turn inward. That turning is the beginning. If you think about your own journey, you will see that this message did not appear at the beginning of your struggle. It appeared after endurance, after nights of questioning, after moments where you felt unseen, after times when you kept going without applause. That is not coincidence. That is preparation. Awakening requires a certain maturity of suffering. Not everyone who suffers awakens, but everyone who awakens has suffered in some way. Suffering humbles the ego. It teaches patience. It sharpens perception. Without it, awakening would turn into arrogance. God's timing is precise, not early, not late. People often say, "Why now?" The answer is simple: because now you can handle it. Awakening too early would overwhelm you. Awakening too late would make you bitter. This moment, this exact time in your life, is when awareness can take root without destroying you. You have learned enough through experience. You have been tested enough through delay. You have been softened enough through failure. Now awareness can grow. To awaken means to see that your life is not happening to you, but through you. This realization changes everything. You begin to understand that every reaction trains your mind. Every repeated thought carves a path. Every small decision shapes your future. Awakening is not about grand visions. It is about small observations. You notice how quickly the mind seeks comfort. You notice how easily emotions hijack action. You notice how discipline fades when no one is watching. These observations are not judgments. They are mirrors. And mirrors are necessary if you want to correct your posture. Many people fear awakening because they think it will take away joy. In truth, it takes away false joy. It removes pleasure that weakens you and replaces it with fulfillment that strengthens you. At first, this feels like loss. You may feel disconnected from old habits, old conversations, old desires. This is normal. You are not becoming empty. You are becoming selective. Your energy is no longer scattered. It is being gathered. If you are seeing this today, it means your awareness has reached a point where distraction no longer satisfies you the way it once did. You may still engage with the world, but something inside you remains observant. You watch yourself more closely now. You question more deeply. You pause before reacting. These are signs of awakening. Quiet signs, invisible to others but powerful within you. Awakening does not separate you from life. It anchors you more deeply into it. You begin to move with intention instead of impulse. You begin to value discipline over motivation, because motivation comes and goes, but discipline stays. You begin to understand that freedom is not doing whatever you want, but being able to choose what is right even when it is difficult. This understanding does not come from books alone. It comes from lived experience, and you have lived enough to receive it. God's congratulations are not emotional praise. They are recognition. Recognition that you did not turn away when awareness knocked. Recognition that you stayed present when escape was easier. Recognition that you are capable of seeing without collapsing. This is why not everyone sees this message. It is not meant for everyone at this moment. Awakening spreads in stages like light at dawn. Some see the first glow, some wake when the sun is already high. Neither is better. Each has its time. Do not rush to label yourself awakened. Labels strengthen the ego. Instead, stay attentive. Awakening is not a destination, it is a continuous practice. Each day you are given opportunities to either remain conscious or fall back into automatic living. The fact that you are aware of this choice is already a sign of awakening. The path now is not to seek more signs, but to live according to what you see. If you are seeing this today, take it as a quiet confirmation. You are not lost. You are not behind. You are exactly where awareness can grow. Stay grounded, stay disciplined, stay honest with yourself. Awakening is not dramatic, but it is irreversible. Once you see, you cannot unsee, and that is why this moment matters. When God says, "Congratulations," the mind immediately translates it into comfort, reward, ease, relief. This is the human misunderstanding. We associate congratulations with the end of effort, with applause, with permission to relax. But in the language of truth, congratulations does not mean rest, it means readiness. It means you are now capable of carrying more responsibility without collapsing under its weight. Comfort is given to those who want to sleep. Responsibility is given to those who are prepared to wake up. Most people want blessings without burden. They want results without discipline, growth without pressure, elevation without sacrifice. But real congratulations come when you are trusted, not when you are entertained. If you are seeing this message today, it is not because your struggles are over. It is because you have proven that struggle does not destroy you. You have shown that you can stand in uncertainty without begging for escape. You have endured enough to be entrusted with more. Responsibility is often misunderstood as punishment. In reality, it is recognition of capacity. You are not given what you want, you are given what you can handle. When life increases its demands on you, it is not trying to break you. It is responding to your growth. A heavier weight is only placed on a stronger structure. If the load feels heavy, it is because you are strong enough to feel it fully. Comfort weakens awareness. When everything is easy, the mind becomes lazy, attention dulls, discipline fades. This is why comfort can be more dangerous than hardship. Hardship forces you to be present. Comfort invites you to drift. God does not congratulate people by putting them to sleep. God congratulates people by calling them into deeper participation with life. To be congratulated in this way means you are now responsible for your inner state. You can no longer blame circumstances for everything. You can no longer wait for motivation to appear before you act. You can no longer live unconsciously and claim innocence. Awareness brings accountability. Once you see your patterns, you are responsible for them. Once you recognize your potential, you are responsible for developing it. Many people resist this stage because it feels heavy. They say, "Why does everything feel more serious now?" It feels serious because you are no longer asleep. You are no longer floating through life on automatic settings. You are being asked to steer. Steering requires effort. Steering requires focus. Steering requires restraint. But it also gives direction. Without responsibility, life may feel light, but it goes nowhere. When God says congratulations, it is an invitation to mature. Maturity does not mean becoming rigid or joyless. It means becoming reliable. Reliable to yourself. Reliable in your actions. Reliable in your values. A mature person does not react blindly. They respond consciously. They do not chase every emotion. They observe it. They do not collapse under pressure. They adjust their posture and continue. Responsibility begins internally. Before you are responsible for others, you are responsible for your thoughts. Your thoughts shape your emotions. Your emotions influence your actions. Your actions build your character. Character determines destiny. This chain begins in the mind. If you neglect the mind, everything downstream suffers. Being congratulated means you are now expected to train the mind rather than be ruled by it. This training is not dramatic. It happens in small moments. when you choose silence instead of unnecessary reaction, when you choose discipline instead of comfort, when you choose consistency instead of intensity. Responsibility lives in these quiet decisions. No one applauds them, no one sees them, but they shape you deeply. Comfort seeks immediate relief. Responsibility seeks long-term alignment. Comfort asks, how do I feel right now? Responsibility asks, what is required of me? These questions lead to very different lives. If you are seeing this message, it means you are being guided away from the first question and toward the second. This shift is subtle, but it changes everything. With responsibility comes loneliness at times. Not everyone will understand your restraint. Not everyone will support your discipline. Some will call it seriousness. Some will call it distance. But responsibility often creates space between you and those who still seek constant distraction. This is not superiority. It is difference in direction. You are walking inward while many are running outward. Do not mistake responsibility for heaviness of heart. A responsible life can be deeply peaceful. Peace does not come from having no duties. It comes from fulfilling the right ones. When your actions align with your values, the mind becomes quiet. When the mind is quiet, life feels lighter, even when the load is heavy. God does not congratulate people by removing challenges. God congratulates people by trusting them with challenges that refine rather than destroy. Each challenge now carries a lesson. Each obstacle asks for a higher level of discipline. Each delay trains patience. You are no longer being tested randomly. You are being trained intentionally. This responsibility also means you must stop waiting to be saved. Support may come, guidance may appear, but the work is yours. No one can think for you. No one can choose for you. No one can walk your inner path. This realization can feel isolating at first, but it is also empowering. You are not a passenger anymore. You are a participant. Congratulations also mean that excuses lose their power. You may still feel fear, doubt, or resistance, but you can no longer hide behind them. Awareness removes hiding places. You see clearly when you are avoiding, when you are delaying, when you are betraying your own standards. This clarity can be uncomfortable, but it is necessary. Only what is seen can be corrected. Responsibility does not demand perfection. It demands sincerity. You will still make mistakes. You will still stumble. But now you will notice faster, correct sooner, and learn deeper. Each mistake becomes instruction instead of identity. This is growth. If you are seeing this today, understand that congratulations are not an ending. They are a beginning of a more conscious phase of life. A phase where you are invited to live deliberately, to speak with intention, to act with restraint, to move with awareness. This path is quieter, but it is stronger. Accept this responsibility without resentment. Do not wish for the comfort of unconscious living. That comfort always comes with hidden costs. You have been called forward because you are ready to carry yourself with integrity even when no one is watching. This is the true meaning of congratulations. When it is said that your inner discipline has been chosen, it does not mean you are already disciplined. It means you are capable of becoming disciplined in a way that transforms your life from the inside out. Discipline is not a trait you are born with, nor a personality type reserved for a few. It is a practice, a relationship with yourself that is built through repeated, conscious choices. God does not choose people because they are perfect. God chooses people because they are moldable, because they can be trained, because they are willing to submit their impulses to a higher order. The world tries to control people from the outside. It uses pressure, fear, reward, and distraction, but external control never lasts. The moment the pressure is removed, people collapse back into old habits. Inner discipline is different. It is self-governance. It is the ability to hold your own attention, regulate your emotions, and act according to principle rather than impulse. When your inner discipline is chosen, it means you are being called to develop this capacity deliberately. Many people misunderstand discipline as restriction, as denial, as punishment. This misunderstanding creates resistance. True discipline is not about suppression, it is about direction. It does not shrink your life, it gives it shape. Without discipline, energy leaks everywhere. With discipline, energy is gathered and focused. What you focus on grows. What you neglect withers. This is not philosophy, it is observable reality. Your life has already shown you moments of discipline, even if they were inconsistent. Times when you did the right thing without recognition. Times when you held back a reaction. Times when you continued despite fatigue. These moments are not random. They are evidence. Evidence that discipline already exists within you as a seed. Seeing this message means the time has come to cultivate that seed instead of ignoring it. Discipline begins with attention. Where your attention goes, your life follows. Most people lose their power because their attention is scattered. They are pulled by notifications, opinions, desires, and fears. Inner discipline starts when you decide to reclaim your attention. This does not mean isolating yourself from the world. It means choosing when and how you engage with it. Attention is your most valuable resource. When you waste it, you weaken yourself. The mind resists discipline because discipline removes excuses. When you are disciplined, you cannot say, "I didn't know," or "I couldn't help it," or "I'll start tomorrow." Discipline brings clarity, and clarity demands action. This is why the ego avoids it. But once discipline is established, the mind becomes quieter. Chaos decreases. Regret lessens. Confidence grows, not from affirmation, but from self-trust. Self-trust is built when your actions align with your intentions. Each time you say you will do something and follow through, even in a small way, self-trust strengthens. Each time you break a promise to yourself, self-trust weakens. Discipline is the practice of keeping promises to yourself. Not dramatic promises, but simple ones. Wake when you say you will wake. Stop when you say you will stop. Begin when you say you will begin. These small acts train the nervous system to respect your word. Inner discipline also involves emotional regulation. This does not mean suppressing emotion. It means not allowing emotion to dictate behavior. Emotions are signals, not commands. Anger, fear, sadness, excitement all arise naturally. Discipline is the pause between emotion and action. In that pause, you regain choice. Without that pause, life becomes reaction after reaction, and reactions create consequences you did not consciously choose. When God chooses your inner discipline, it means you are now capable of holding that pause. You may not always succeed, but you are capable. You can feel anger without becoming violent. You can feel desire without becoming impulsive. You can feel fear without becoming paralyzed. This capacity is what separates those who are ruled by life from those who shape it. Discipline is closely connected to simplicity. The more unnecessary complexity you allow into your life, the harder discipline becomes. Too many commitments, too much stimulation, too many voices. Inner discipline often requires subtraction before addition. Removing habits that drain you. Reducing noise. Creating space. Space is where discipline grows. In constant chaos, discipline cannot breathe. Your body is also part of inner discipline. How you sleep, how you eat, how you move. These are not separate from spirituality, they are expressions of it. A neglected body weakens the mind. A restless body disturbs focus. When you care for the body with consistency, you create stability. Stability supports discipline. Discipline supports clarity. There will be resistance. Some days discipline will feel effortless. Other days it will feel heavy. This does not mean you are failing. It means you are training. A muscle does not grow without resistance. Inner discipline is no different. Each time you choose discipline over comfort, you strengthen your capacity to choose again. Over time, what was once difficult becomes natural. Do not compare your discipline to others. Comparison weakens focus. Some people are disciplined in one area and chaotic in another. Your path is yours. The only comparison that matters is between who you were and who you are becoming. Discipline reveals progress quietly. You will notice it in how you speak, how you respond, how you recover from setbacks. When your inner discipline is chosen, your life begins to organize itself. Not because circumstances magically improve, but because you respond differently. You waste less energy on regret. You spend less time explaining yourself. You move with fewer internal conflicts. This creates momentum. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence creates calm. God does not choose inner discipline lightly. It is a powerful force. A disciplined person cannot be easily manipulated, easily distracted, or easily broken. This is why discipline is rare. It requires patience, honesty, and humility. It requires you to face your own inconsistencies without excuses. But it also gives you something priceless: self-respect. Self-respect does not come from achievement alone. It comes from integrity. From knowing that when things are difficult, you do not abandon yourself. This knowledge becomes a quiet strength. You do not need to prove it to others. You feel it in how you stand, how you breathe, how you decide. If you are seeing this message, take it as a sign that the work is shifting inward. Less chasing, more cultivating. Less reacting, more choosing. Inner discipline is not about becoming rigid. It is about becoming reliable. Reliable to your values. Reliable in your effort. Reliable in your presence. This is not a short-term task. Discipline is a lifelong practice. But once it becomes part of you, life feels less chaotic. You are no longer at war with yourself. You move forward with steadiness. This is what it means for your inner discipline to be chosen.